Welcome everybody, you're watching Mr. Fugu Data Science. Today is going to be a little bit of an interesting video. It's going to be from personal experience and opinion and to go over some things that I've been reading recently. So we're featuring what is the future of data analytics in general for the year 2023. Here's some of my thoughts. This notebook will be in the next video. We're going to review some of these articles today. This article is from Forbes of this year. I think it was posted in March. And it's interesting because of a few things. Because of the advances in AI and ChatGPT coming out, I think it was November of last year, of 2022, things have shook up, the world for academics, for automating jobs, creative writing, facilitating code development and automation. Things like this that are important, and yes, they do take away from some jobs, but let's look at a few of the things that are causing people to get all up in arms about. Alright, so let's start here, right here. So Goldman Sachs said 300 million jobs could be affected by generative AI, meaning that 18% of the work globally could be automated. What's the time frame for this? 5 years, 10 years? I don't know. I think they put it in their prospectus, but that's irrelevant at this point. This is a statement that they're saying worldwide 300 million. The report also predicts that 2/3 of jobs in the US and Europe are exposed to some degree of AI automation. I think it's good, but there are some drawbacks for the people who do lose their jobs. There's some ideas I have for that, but it's only opinion based. According to some researchers from Pennsylvania State, OpenAI found some educated white-collar workers earning up to $80,000 a year are more than likely to be affected by the workplace automation. If you're doing routine tasks for whatever job, in tech, whatever it may be, yeah, you can automate the process. If I'm parsing data all day, for example JSON, yeah, why not automate the process? Let me give an example of where this chatbot came into my personal life for a contract I had. This happened in actually around November, late November, early December. I had a contract. I was doing some work for someone. They took some of my skills after I tried to help them, and they utilized the chatbot to do the work and pretty much negated my contract. I thought it was ingenious. I was a little salty and mad about it because, obviously I'm losing some money, but it was ingenious. And yes, I was salty in the beginning, but I said, you know what? This is a great tool, a great asset. Now, a lot of people will say, oh my gosh, this is terrible because you can write a college essay, you could go pass the bar exam, you could go blah, 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 right? With advances in technology, you have to create protocol to help combat this. That's a necessity. And with this new AI, it's going to create new jobs. While some jobs may get phased out, other jobs are going to get created because of this technology. It's going to say, well, jobs such as what? Agriculture, mining, manufacturing, those aren't going to get exposed to AI issues. Okay, that's fine. Who cares? But then they say, well, IT, that's a big problem, or people who are programming and writing. Yes, this is going to help facilitate the automation of jobs, but it's also going to decrease the workforce in some capacity over time. That's a fact. So the way you're going to need to combat this is to gain new skills and focus more on the critical thinking part, only the tasks that require you to do repetitive work. That's something I would hinge on as a really important prospect. Things like what? Banking, media marketing, these are all going to be affected, of course. Legal services, that's already something that's causing some issues. Also digital art for the generative AI stuff, music creation, things like this. Now let's skip to this other article where we have, according to CBS News, AI is going to eliminate 4,000 jobs in May. Okay, that's fine. 4,000 jobs according to this study of the Challenger, Gray and Christmas LLC. We're going to pull that up in a second for some specifics. Something that's really important here is that IBM decided that, hey, we're going to get rid of some of these jobs and we're not going to fill the vacancies. And over time, any job that's not a face-to-face, we're going to try to automate this job and get rid of it in 5 or 10 years. They can go and do that. That's just something that you need to be aware of. This click over and look at this. Let's look at this report that was posted a week ago on June 1st of this year by this Christmas LLC company, right? It says some things that are interesting. US-based employers, there's 80,089 job cuts as of last month of May, with a 20% increase of the month prior. That may seem kind of high, but let's look at this with a little bit of perspective. We'll see that January is usually a little bit higher for turnover rate for people leaving these jobs. And I want to preface with something. This Christmas Challenger Gray company, they deal with outplacement services for basically people who lose their jobs or transitioning employment. That's what their specialty is apparently. Where do they get the data? From either employers or from people who are applying? I don't really know much about this. I just pulled it from the CBS article I read. So if anything's inaccurate, don't blame me. Here's something that I think is interesting. They're proposing like 417,500 jobs will be cut this year. I would actually think it's more. I think that's a conservative number. And if we scroll back and we say, well, between January and May of 2020, there were 1.4 million people who got the boot for the jobs. I was one of those people. What a delight. Let's skip down to something. Our interest here for this exercise is talking about the tech sector. We'll see that there were almost 23,000 people who got the can as of last month, with 136,000 total people losing their job up to this point in the year. Last year, there was an uptick in a lot of things going on in the economy in the United States and the world. If you paid attention to some of the currencies, if you were traveling or doing business, you would have saw that the last about 4 to 5 months there was a lot of transitions. If you were a YouTuber, you would see that your ad revenue was decreased by probably 50%, even more for some people. There's a lot going on in the economy, and you can see that uptick here, and then it starts dropping back down. I would say that there's a macro economy issue that is going on causing something like this to occur, not just one single thing. You could see that retailers, financial firms, media firms all took these hits, right? What we're interested in is scrolling down here and looking at the tech sector. We're seeing that a job cut of last year was only 4,500 versus 136,000 and change. That's kind of interesting. That's what it says. And we'll see some of these high income states such as Washington, New York, and California had some big hits this year for unemployment or layoffs. And we will scroll down. Financial tech, what are we at? Year to date for fintech, almost 10,000. We have technology, 136,000, which is just massive considering a bunch of the alphabet companies were laying off a bunch of people. We can see the reason why some of these jobs were cut. We'll see that basically economic conditions created most of this. People cutting costs or closing down shops or just giving no reason for unemployment. Now, if we go here into the early 2000s where the dot-com stuff is, you'll see there was some big unemployment, you know, over 1 million plus for a few of these years when the dot-com bust. Then we have the little crisis of the real estate stuff in 08-09, 2020, and then here we are in 2023. So in the grand scheme of things, it's not as bad as they make it look. Unfortunately, the number of jobs in the short amount of time looks like it's exploding. But you need to step back and think about this. Yes, it's a lot of jobs, but comparative to some of the situations for the economy in prior decades, it's not that bad yet. Now, if you notice something, retail took a huge hit, right? Look at technology, right? So let's look at the time frame. This is last year and here's this year. So it doesn't look that bad. My takeaway from this is that while there's a lot of jobs that may be getting displaced, you have to take it on a case-by-case dependent on sector and dependent on what the skills are needed for that particular position. Now, employers are going to do a few things that are kind of goofy, where they may be more stringent or competitive for the workflow now because of these tools and advances in technology that may make it more stressful or technically difficult for those to retain future employment over the long haul. And that's a takeaway that you need to make sure you understand. A lot of these companies are trying to look at metrics more for the workflow of individual employees or teams. And that's something you need to pay attention to, which may become problematic for your future. But that's the end of this video. So please like, share, and subscribe. And if you subscribe, turn on that notification bell. Thanks for watching. Thank you for all your love and support and any of the positive feedback I've had over the years. See you in the next video.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head.